All right, today we're out with Damien du Plessis. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
And we are driving through basically a 600-acre field of corn, and we are making our way up to the silage cutter, up to the basically the left-hand side of the video. It's going to take us a little bit to get over there, but Damien and Wenzel have been out here today hauling chopped corn silage from the field over to HRC. So Damien, good afternoon to you. How's things going?
Not bad, having fun.
Yeah. I just got in with Damien. It's almost close to quitting time, but you said roughly 7 loads in for today?
Yeah, roughly about 7 loads.
All right, and how's things going today? Pretty fast pace. I know there's some slow moments when the cutter's kind of getting a new section of the field ready to cut, but otherwise, is it pretty fast paced?
Yeah, it's pretty fast paced. Didn't sit around doing nothing for 15 minutes.
Right?
I think, yeah. But you said about 2 minutes doing nothing, but that's about it.
Yep.
That's about it.
So
sorry about that.
That's all right. It's just a little bumpy out here. So tell us a little bit about the truck you're on. I know you're on. You know, what type of tonnage can you haul with the live bottom? Do you know exactly what kind of
around about 30 tons?
30 tons.
Yeah. If you go more than that, it just simply won't unload it.
Oh, really?
You need to grab the shovel.
Oh, that
happened a couple of times to me.
No kidding.
With manure especially.
So how do you control that? I mean, do you just kind of generally know what 30 tons of...
We have the scale inside the semi.
Oh, okay. I'm going to zoom in on that. I didn't realize that. So basically, have you had any issues with, Dion and the silage cutter, getting you too full, or are you able to cut them off at the right time?
So with chopped silage, we don't ever get a heavy load.
Okay.
It's just sometimes with manure, it's wet and it's heavy that way. But
okay.
With chopped silage, never.
Okay.
We load as much as we want to, and
yeah,
it's good.
And does the truck immediately handle differently when you got 30 tons of silage on the back? I mean, obviously it's probably pulling harder.
Yeah, it's pulling harder, but it actually drives nicer.
Does it?
Yeah, because it sits more onto the road.
Okay.
Especially with high winds like today.
Yeah.
I enjoy it more being loaded than being empty.
Okay.
Because being empty, the wind just pulls you to the side.
Okay. When you're loaded, it doesn't touch you.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, basically it does nothing.
And it's kind of interesting you mentioned that, because I was riding with Dion and the John Deere silage cutter, and one thing I noticed as he was going back and forth in the field is when the silage cutter got loaded to kind of the optimal RPM, range of the engine, everything just got quiet.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool to kind of see how quiet that machine would get when we're taking in, a large amount of material. The machine was talking to you, and it just kind of felt, you could tell that it was in its sweet spot, so to speak. So I'm assuming a truck is similar to that in nature.
Yeah. I think semi performs at its best when it's loaded.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it. I don't know, when it's empty, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But when it's loaded, peak performance.
Okay. One thing Damien was reminding me of when we were on our way out to the field is, if you go out to burningsfarms.com, we have a section dedicated to all the team members and their respective bios. And one of Damien's favorite farm activities is actually hauling silage, which I had forgot about till you reminded me. But it's basically, you said, just kind of the fast-paced nature of you're kind of always busy, when you're in the silage hauling mode.
Yeah, I just like the fast-paced action. Just basically keep doing stuff. I don't like to sit around do nothing.
Right. Helps pass the time a little bit faster when you're staying busy.
That's true too. So the days goes faster.
Yep.
So the time passes fast.
Yep.
And I go home quicker that way.
So we're making our way up to the silage cutter. You can see we got 4 trucks ahead of us. So while we make our way up there, Damien, why don't you walk us through kind of the process, and you know, for a viewer that's sitting at home and maybe isn't familiar with how silage is chopped, why don't you just kind of give us a perspective of what it looks like from, you know, the truck side of things. I know you guys got cameras and a radio. Walk us through how this is going to work when we get up to the silage cutter.
So the first thing I usually do is just make sure my radio is on and nice and loud so I can hear the chopper.
Yep.
And then obviously need to switch on my camera. It's probably not going to connect now, but as soon as I get next to the chopper, it'll connect.
Okay.
And then that way I can see how I'm getting loaded. And then, yeah, basically that's it. I just pull up next to the chopper and get loaded.
So is it challenging? I know this crew, this custom cutter, likes to do the approach where the truck driver is a bit more in control of loading their trailer. Is it pretty straightforward, or does it get a little challenging at times when you're trying to, you know, match the speed to, you know, basically how you want the trailer to be loaded?
I'd say it'll be challenging if it wasn't for the cameras, but with the cameras it's actually pretty simple. You just need to make sure you keep your distance from the chopper. Okay. That's about three rows of corn. Okay. I don't know, probably what, 6 feet. Okay. Keep your 6 feet apart, and yeah, that's basically it. That's the hardest part of it. Okay. It's just to keep your distance. But basically all I'm doing is looking at that camera. I don't even really look where I'm going. Okay. Just basically switch between the two views, and and that's about what it takes. Talking to Dion, he basically, you know, we were talking about the force of the silage coming out, and he says that, you know, there's enough force there that if something happens and it, you know, comes towards a window or something, it can knock out a window. Have you heard of that? I haven't heard about it, but I can believe it. Yeah. Because I mean that silage, even with strong winds like today, it blows right into the trailer. It doesn't have any difficulty going into the trailer or blowing around everywhere or something like that. So yeah, I can believe it. Yep. I can believe it. All right, so viewers, basically we're gonna wait in line here for our turn, and whenever we get up there and get ready to receive our load of chopped silage here, I'll do some video of Damien in action. We'll get a little video of the camera here, and you can kind of see the silage being loaded. And then what we're going to be doing is taking it over to HRC. What would you say? It's about a 15-minute trip, something like that? Yeah, 15, 20 minutes. Okay, and we'll watch Damien unload, and then later I'm going to be grabbing some drone footage, and we'll get some drone footage of the unloading process, and hopefully a little bit of the tractors packing the silage and kind of bringing it up into the silo and things like that. So we'll be back with you here shortly once we make our way to the front of the line. Okay, we're back with you. It's probably been, I don't know, what would you say, 10-15 minutes since we were recording last? Yeah. So we've been making our way around this big pivot, and our turn is about up here. So we'll just grab a little video here as Dion tops off this truck in front of us, and then it'll be our turn, and we'll grab some shots here of what we can see as we're being loaded. The camera on the silage cutter's starting to come in, but it's mostly black and white, and I'd argue that it's kind of hard to see. So we're gonna watch Damien work his magic here and load this thing. So. Yeah, Dion was saying this silage cutter's 900 horsepower. Yeah. It just has like, I think, a V10 or V12 motor in it. Actually, he was saying this one has inline 6, I think. It's the newer one that doesn't require DEF because it's super efficient. Oh. So I think it's inline 6. Okay. 4 or 6, I can't remember, but. I suppose you can get used to that, but that's hard to see. I'm used to it. Basically, all I need to see is that it's going into my trailer and
and not falling over the edge.
yeah, and then basically I need to see when it's piling up.
And you can see that well enough?
Yeah, I can see that well enough.
Okay.
That's basically all I need to see. I didn't need to see the small details.
Okay.
And then I basically just make sure I go in a straight line, and
Yep.
that's what I'm doing. Takes about 10 minutes to load a semi,
Yeah.
and without all the turns and stuff we're about to do. But
Yeah, you know, it's taken a couple of days just to knock out that half of this. So I'm guessing, you know, you guys will be out here for a few more days just on this particular circle.
Yeah, I'd say like a quarter it'll take us 6 hours.
Right.
But this is obviously a lot bigger.
All right, we're topped off, and we are headed to the feedlot now. Sorry, I cut you off. Was you gonna say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I actually don't even feel a difference.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah, it actually feels empty.